Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode on this channel. Mummies and pyramids. Let's get started. Alright, so what are these mummies and pyramids like? Firstly, they are awesome and they have been here for thousands of years. Actually 3,000 for that matter, and 5,000 years. But in this case, there are a few things that could happen that has been taught over the years. Firstly, let's start with the actual most ancient Egypt, the Nile. Now, the Nile River is an exception for a few things. Firstly, it is one of the most fundamental key points of the civilization of, I don't know, ancient Egypt. Actually, it is the civilization of the ancient Egypt, but that's for some other video. But anyway, the useful thing about the Nile wasn't just about the water, the fishes, the animals. It was actually the mud. And you might think, how is mud supposed to help you? It should be useful, like how this thing goes on this screw thing, goes on this little screw thing, not here, like here in the charger blade. Even though it fits a lot, even though it fits, which I can't possibly do right now. It fits though, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, that's not the point of this. It's like the analogy I just created for you guys. How can this little thing be useful? Well, as it does with the pen, it actually just makes so that something doesn't come out and that we might accidentally break something or something. But for the Nile River, the mud was that little something that kept the pen thing inside, so that we have fertile land that we can just plow and plow and plow and farm on. And that's exactly how it works. And now let's talk about everyday life. Now, most Egyptians were farmers, and they lived in these small communities where they sometimes turned into trading local centers. And this is what a typical Egyptian home would have looked like. Yes, it looks a lot like a modern home, except it's without electricity and modern technology. And everybody used makeup, except it was poisonous. And a lot of things started governing everyone about how they should do themselves. And then Egyptian religion came in with Bastet, Thoth, Isis, Osiris, Ra, Beth, and Horus. All of those gods came into view for us, and are taking a new life toward us. So we just go prayed for them, which actually gave priests a lot of advantage. And when we gave food to the statues, the priests would just go and eat the food that was laid to the gods. They knew gods didn't exist. Well, unless they didn't. They just kept the food there, and when they got hungry, they just ate all of it. And that's exactly what happened. Wow. Now, since they couldn't afford much, and usually they had to become priests by themselves, they had to eat the food that they were technically given to. And then mummies started forming. And the first mummy may have been caused by an accident. Every Egyptian was like, we can't put their mummies in the mud. We need that for farming. So they decided to do that. We just bury them in the hot desert, Sahara Desert, and they might dry up and die forever and disintegrate their bones. But instead this happened. Instead of drying up and disintegrating, they just stayed there. It dried all the water away, evaporated the water away, and preserved the skeleton. And when the Egyptians dug these up looking for treasure, or mines at least, they found these skeletons preserved even though it was like 100 years later. They're like, whoa. And they studied this and learned how to create efficient mummy making ways so that they can preserve the dead. Which is very useful because the religion said that everyone needed their bodies even after they died to live, because their body was like a second home to them, except the gods. But there was a lot of treasures in the pyramids, and a lot of rulers came in and stole it. One tomb, though, was lucky. It was King Tutankhamun's tomb, and his tomb wasn't robbed in 3,000 years until Howard Carter came in and excavated all these items, which technically was like robbing. And he was actually the most famous mummy of all because he was technically the last human mummy to be ever found. And also, since he's the one who has been mostly similar to the ones that looked like for kings before it's robbed, which was pretty good. And the gifts of pyramids and mummies gave us a lot of things. It taught us about the Egyptians. It also taught us about how we should care about the Egyptians and how we probably be without the pyramids. Pyramids are empty now, except for the one about King Tutankhamun. All the treasures that we've been found in pyramids have been showcased in the museum, especially King Tutankhamun's. But we can still learn from them. We can still visit the pyramids and sometimes still go inside and see the mummy for itself. And King Tutankhamun's mummy conveniently is still inside his own tomb. So, in a way, ancient Egyptians believed that they could live forever, eternally. Well, in a way, they did succeed in that, even though it wasn't the way that they asked for. But in a way, they did live forever, and they may still live forever for a way longer time. So I guess I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you didn't enjoy this episode, then please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next episode. Shnan out. Ace! Yeah. Come on, cat. Bye. With a tribute to the Egyptians. Hey, don't walk on the iPad.